Good idea.
So even if they knock, they can't get in. And I'll keep track of the time, and I'll plan to have a stop at 5 to 6.
Okay.
All right. So, something you had on your mind.
Yeah, it's a recurring pattern in my life when it comes to relationships with males, that I can't seem to get myself out of when it comes to choosing someone romantically. That we go through the friendship phase, and well, sometimes the friendship is tainted with flirtation and stuff like that, and I can't seem to hold down a long-term relationship with a male. One of the reasons is that they either are seeing someone else at the time that I don't know about, or that they've supposedly broken up with, and then they meet me and they go out with me, and then they decide to go back to this other person. So I've always felt somewhat like that I'm the mistress, that I'm always the mistress, that
not the woman who's really embraced as his own, but
right,
the one on the side.
Yeah. It's like that, and sometimes it's like I'm one to be taken on for, like in the chess game, the queen to be sacrificed in order to get the mate. You know?
And you're like the queen who gets sacrificed. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. That, here's a woman that I can go out with, that I'm interested in, not as long-term relationship, maybe short-term, so I can get this other person jealous, or to find somebody better, or
fill in, or something like that.
Yeah, that it really, if I'm in the type of disposition where I'm putting my self-esteem or validating my self-esteem by relationships, then that's so painful, and I can't seem to get out of this role with men, that I'm more of a person that they want to just have sex with, and then when there's no way, when that I won't do that, then they're gone. So I feel that hurts me really bad, because I'm not taken seriously as a person.
I understand. What you're telling me is very hurtful, and this has, I guess, been happening a number of times, where you were extra, or you were fill-in, or it felt like you were just wanted for as a sexual partner, right? And what you want is a deep relationship in which you're the one. You're the one for the man,
the
right?
Primary person, not secondary or the third, or I haven't been in that place for anyone in over 2 years since I was engaged. So I don't know if there's some hidden thing within me that wants to sabotage, that by not getting into good relationships, so I don't have to hurt Clark by getting married, or that I can analyze it intercyclically and all that stuff, but that doesn't do me any good.
I understand. You wonder sometimes if you're doing something to make this happen. You have that question, but you're also saying that somehow you're not aware of doing that. Or,
Right.
Right. So it's just a fruitless sort of hypothesis or something.
The search doesn't end up with...
It doesn't help. It hasn't helped. And the other thing, I guess, that stood out for me was you're saying it's been 2 years, and you've had the kind of relationship you've just been describing to me for 2 years. It's a long time to not feel that you were valued in the way you want to be valued by a man. Right? And that aspect of the last 2 years is painful, very painful.
Yeah, it is. It's very lonely.
Lonely and hurtful.
Because I don't want, I don't want to be alone. I can handle being alone, but I'd rather have a partner. I think it'd be nice to find someone. Maybe it's harder to find somebody now because of the way I am. That I think it's getting harder every year. The more I find out who I am, that it's narrowing down the kinds of things that I will. That I'll take, it's
That you'll put up with.
Right. And I'm not going to compromise myself, especially sexually. And it's a continual hurt when I find out that that's really the apex of the triangle is sex, and that's where most relationships want to balance it, and that's not stable enough for me. And it's hard, I think, to find somebody that can handle intense intimacy with a woman who's not totally needy and needs to be taken care of. And I have needs, but the men that have left me for other women are to women that are extremely needy. Like they need to take care of someone, and I don't really need to be cared for. I want to walk side by side.
I see. But you have been becoming more of your own person, and out of that more assertive, and also establishing limits that seem right for you, like not being sexual just because it's wanted, but by the other person. Is that partly what you meant? And then you come across as more independent or more autonomous. It looks like the men have preferred women who were
totally dependent.
More dependent and more needy. And what are you going to do? You're really this person who is more assertive. And I mean, that's part of what you're saying, isn't it? That you're afraid that it cuts down your chances.
Yes.
Is that?
Maybe I'm finding I'm attracting the wrong type of people. And I get tempted sometimes to, be real manipulative and play the wounded puppy role that I need you, and so they'll stay with me, but I can't do that.
I mean, you can't even really do it in the short run anymore.
No. Well, I could. I mean, but I don't see, that's not being honest. I don't think, I mean, playing games, just, I don't like that. I like to be straightforward and honest. Maybe I should play games.
It's tempting, given what happens.
Yeah. I like being honest, and at first Men are really attracted to that, my honesty and my intelligence, and but then it seems like in a way they're really attracted to it, but then they're fearful of it. That I don't know.
Do they change in respect? Your observation is they change in respect to that very characteristic at some point, where it seems to be part of their attraction initially, but then it seems later to be part of their withdrawal.
Yeah, because it's, I guess, it's the expectation that if I'm like this, well, and I do expect it, then they need to be just as honest with me.
I mean, that's part of the problem for the men, that you have that expectation that they'll meet you in honesty, but they may not be comfortable with that or able to do that. So then you become a demanding, it makes you someone who's demanding something of them that they can't meet, or that's the way they may perceive it. Is that
I think,
speculation?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're exploring this and you're not clear or sure what's the problem, right? But this is one direction of feeling you're too much your own person somehow for many of these
too
men.
intense, and I've been told that I'm too intense. And when it comes to honesty and intimacy, sharing, and that's what maybe it's,
that they say that. I mean, literally, that's the criticism. You're too intense.
Yeah. Which I thrive on intensity. I just have to find somebody else that does too. And maybe I'm just too impatient to wait for the right person to come along. Because I figure there's got to be somebody out there
that can meet you.
Yeah. It's like when
love you as you are.
Exactly.
And meet it.
And be as in touch with themselves.
As you try to be.
And willing to grow. I mean, that's another problem, is that the people, or some of the men that I've met, are just pure and happy being where they're at, and not learning more, and not contemplating life more, and growing and having goals and stuff, and it's really frustrating. I've been blaming myself. I just realized that something must be terribly characteristically wrong with me. And
now you're wondering
if there isn't. That I hate to say that I am more advanced for my age, because that sounds really narcissistic. But
maybe you, in fact, feel that you are.
Yeah. And
that some of these men are not.
Yeah.
Up to you in that sense, in development. I understand it's hard to say because you don't want to sound like you're tooting your own horn.
Everybody wants to be modest, right? But
candidly, maybe there's some truth. Maybe.
Yeah.
But you've been feeling it at fault and feeling some... I mean, up to this thought, it's been generally, as you've experienced this, it's the hurt of losing the relationship, the hurt of feeling undervalued or secondary, but also a feeling of somehow you're fucking up.
Yeah. What am I doing wrong? Why? What makes this other person so much better than me? What do I lack? Which is
this other woman, what makes her so more desirable for a big relationship?
Right. For long-term or marriage, And yeah.
And thinking of it as a deficit. Now the other thought here is that maybe they are just not as developed, and so they're oriented towards something that's less evolved in their own personalities. So they're finding their level.
Yeah.
As another.
That's a
That's a tentative.
much nicer way to look at things. I mean, you can project it on the blame on the other person. I know that I have a lot to do with. I mean, the things I take responsibility in the things I get into.
The conflicts with the man, for example. Is that what you mean? Or
Yeah, or the
the relationship.
the relationship. Yeah, I haven't had really conflictual relationships. They just, it's just like I'm in love with somebody else. They come with that, and yet they want to spend all their time with me, but are in love with somebody else.
I see. That's the story you get. They want to be with you, make love with you, but they love her.
I had a friend who said it sounds